All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our November Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. Thank you guys all for coming tonight. Thank you, PRAB members who've donated and volunteered your time to come join us tonight. Thank you to the staff who's here helping us run these meetings and giving us valuable information and insight. And thank you to the public who's joining us as either a person who's going to make comment tonight or just watching us and being part of our meeting. We appreciate you. And also thank you to our youth who's come tonight. We have several youth PRAB members tonight joining us, and we're glad to have you tonight as well. We'd like to start our meetings by reading our land acknowledgement, and tonight Kim has offered to read that. Thanks, Kim.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you to City Council and the Denver American Indian Commission for creating this acknowledgement and allowing DPR to use it. Denver Parks and Recreation honors and acknowledges that the land on which we reside is the traditional territory of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho peoples. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. We honor elders past, present, and future, and those who have stewarded this land throughout generations. We also recognize that government, academic, and cultural institutions were founded upon and continue to enact exclusions and erasures of Indigenous peoples. May this land acknowledgement demonstrate a commitment to working to dismantle ongoing legacies of oppression and inequities and recognize the current and future contributions of Indigenous communities in Denver. Let us continue to be good stewards of the land and honor our past, both today and into the future.
Thank you. We appreciate that, and we value those words, and we especially value actions that are connected with it. So thank you. I'd also like to read tonight our norms that we created, and we created these at the last retreat, which we will have another one in the winter. And this is for all of us. Be respectful, presume positive intentions, seek first to understand, and then to be understood. Stay focused on topics at hand, allow space for all to have a voice, listen without judgment, and live our values of equity and inclusion. Thank you all once again for joining us tonight. And I'd like to take just a moment to welcome our youth members who are here tonight. And so far, I see Audrey, and I see, let's see, I saw Michaela was here, and I thought I saw somebody else. So far, that's our
Anya.
youth. And Anya, thank you. Yes, I did see Anya. She slipped off my screen. There we go. And Anya was here. So thank you for joining us. You'll have an opportunity to share a little bit during our Recreation Committee meeting later. And I also wanted to introduce a new member. We have joining us tonight for the first time, Kelsey Doyle, who is replacing Lynn with Councilman Cashman's district. And we wanted to welcome you tonight. And PRAB is a whole lot, and we are certainly going to give you some time to get to know us, and we'll reach out to you after the meeting to find out how we can help you and help get you kind of onboarded in our mentor process. But I'd like to give you an opportunity, if you'd like to take a second, you're welcome to share a little bit about yourself and what brings you to PRAB.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm really happy to be part of the group, and I appreciate the warm welcome I've already received and the helpful guidance already to this point. And I really wanted to thank Lynn. She's been so helpful in the transition and explaining things to me, which I really appreciate. I am a young mom that lives in the Corey Merrill neighborhood, and I have had the pleasure of enjoying many of our parks over the last 4 years that I've lived in Denver. I'm born and raised in Denver, though, and so I'm passionate about specifically our parks. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to represent my district and work with all of you. So nice to meet you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And, if you have any questions tonight, please feel free to reach out, because our meetings are rather formal, but we do want to welcome you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And at this time, we are going to move into approving or asking for any edits to our October minutes. So I'll say thank you to Kate, who takes excellent minutes from our meetings, and she is so swift and efficient with it. Really, really appreciate it, how you capture the essence of all of our meetings. Nice work. But anybody have any edits or suggestions, comments that need to change from last month? Okay. Seeing none, I Let's see, I didn't bring my Robert's rules out, but it's something like, I would make a motion to accept the minutes as written. And all those in favor, just raise your hand. And I don't think, all right, great. Or say aye if you can't be seen. Wonderful. And any abstentions? Okay, Meredith,
I
thank you.
wasn't at the meeting.
Great. And any no's?
I
All
one
right.
abstention as well.
Thank you,
It was
Kelsey.
technically my
Yes.
first one, but I was like 2 days in.
That makes sense. Yes, I that makes sense. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you. Moving right along, then we'll start with our public comments tonight, Arthur, and I believe we just have one person who's signed up.
That is correct. We have just one public comment tonight from Lisa Robinson. Lisa, give it just a few moments and you should be able to unmute yourself.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can't see
That's
me,
great.
though.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, we can't see you, but we can hear you. Go ahead when you're ready.
Let me start video. Let me see if this will work.
Oh, there
there
we go. Yeah,
Thank
great.
you. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Lee. My name's Lisa Robinson. Jolyn emailed me March 2025 of what I can and cannot say in PRAB public comment. Jolyn writes he will stop my speech if I don't obey. How is this freedom of speech when I'm told what to say by Jolyn? How do I assume best intentions of John Martinez bashing in my garage door May 23rd, 2025 at 5:55 a.m., a class 6 felony, prison time, $4,000 worth of damage, and made me afraid in my home? The First Amendment has 5 elements: freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom to petition redress of your government without fear of retaliation, and freedom to assemble. March 28, 2025, Jolyn Clark, John Martinez, City Attorney Katie McLaughlin, Sergeant Riker all conspired to have me arrested for exercising my rights in a public space, a constitutionally protected activity. Katie sent the text message to illegally arrest me to Jolyn, who sent it to Riker, and Riker had Rookie Hertz take a screenshot to arrest me in the future of recording in public, protected under the United States Constitution. March 28th was the 4th time Martinez and Jolyn tried to have me arrested for recording in public. The first 3 times the police wouldn't arrest me or give me a trespass. Just the week before, Officer Jacob Sanders told DPR I can record in the public lobby and to leave me alone. Martinez messages me on my YouTube channel that I'll be forced out of Denver, and with $8,000 for my criminal defense for trespass and $4,000 for my garage door, they are trying to ruin me financially. Martinez had Ranger Glover issue me 2 citations, but he never handed them to me. And it was for not IDing, but I was in public, broke no laws, told them my name, and they know me too. These citations were sent to collections, and Jolyn and Martinez are trying to ruin my perfect credit. My 1-year suspension is up February 18th, 2026, and I will be back. I better be back in the rec centers and parks because I did nothing wrong and I pay taxes. Eventually, I will file a lawsuit, but it will be the taxpayers who pay. And they can blame PRAB because I started speaking here February 2025, well before I was illegally arrested and before Martinez bashed in my garage door. Mayor Johnson knows what Martinez and Jolyn are doing to me because I met with Floor, my city council person, in March, and Floor said she has no political power. She just got elected. Martinez has over 100 city attorneys he can use for free, and I have no lawsuit. I wrote Martinez felony on Nextdoor, and people commented, and a newsman from Channel 7 contacted me. I stated here and on my YouTube channel, and I have no lawsuit. This proves he's guilty or he'd sue me for defamation. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Lisa. Thank you for sharing with us. Arthur, do we have any other public comments that signed up?
Nope. That concludes public comment tonight.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate all of the comments that we get through our public comment form online, through emails to PRAB, and to our public comment when we have our meetings. We appreciate them and track them on our tracker. All right, we are going to move right along to our presentations tonight. And we have a special guest joining us. We've got Frank Rowe, and he is going to share a little update from the Denver Park Trust. As you know, we work with many organizations and partnerships throughout the city, and the Denver Park Trust has just some updates for us that I think are very timely and connected to the work we're doing. So Frank, thank you for joining us tonight. We've missed you on the board. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Lee. And I'm going to add Michaela Perry to this conversation.
Oh, great.
Is my colleague. The Denver Park Trust is a two-person staff, and you're looking at the entire team. We also have a board of directors at numbers 13, including Kendra Black, who's one of your colleagues, is on our board. And she's also a co-founder of the Park Trust. So we have a short presentation. I don't know, Michaela, you're bringing that up, I think. There you go. Yeah, so I titled it Reintroducing the Denver Park Trust. So some of you know us since we started 6 years ago, but we've got some kind of exciting updates to share and thought this might be a good time. And Lee, really appreciate you adding us to the agenda, and I do miss everybody on PRAB. So let's take a look at the next slide. And 2019 was started out with the Denver Parks system being ranked 29th in the Trust for Public Lands park score of the top 100 cities. But 2029 also brought in May the release of the Game Plan for a Healthy City, Denver Parks and Recreation's 20-year strategic plan. And then in November, voters of Denver approved Referendum 2A, which became the Legacy Fund. Sandwiched in between there was the Denver Park Trust founding on July 1st. We're a nonprofit, we're a partner of Denver Parks and Recreation, and we're a fundraising organization. And if you fast forward to 2025, Denver's now number 10 on the park score. And that came through the hard work of Denver Parks and Recreation leadership and staff in executing the Game Plan for a Healthy City. It also came with great input from nonprofit partners like the Park People, Denver Mountain Parks Foundation, Greenway Foundation, Civic Center Conservancy, and park champions like all of you that are on the Parks Board. The Denver Park Trust was part of that. We can't say we got it all the way from 29 to 10 because it took that collective effort. But if you look at the map, you can see what we do, what we've done in the last 6 years. Is we worked on park projects that are all aligned with Denver Parks and Recreation. They all follow Game Plan for a Healthy City, and they're located in Denver's historically under-resourced neighborhoods. But what I wanted to do today is all of that came as we were a startup organization, and we were grabbing opportunities here and working with communities there and talking to park planners in Montbello and wherever, and just doing what startups do, which is looking for their lane and trying to find out what we do best. This year, we conducted a strategic plan that was led by our board. And so we're focused on, for the next 3 years, in some key areas. And we want to use our experience and our expertise in fundraising to better support Denver Parks and Recreation and the park system. So I'm going to let Michaela walk you through a little bit about the strategic plan.
Great. Thanks, Frank. It's nice to see some familiar faces and to meet some of you. Lee, I appreciate you calling me out as a youth, but a little older than that. Maybe there's another Michaela. All right, so our 2025 strategic plan, we worked with a consultant and started off with 25 community interviews. And this included DPR staff, some neighborhood groups who we've worked with, funders, and just folks who are passionate about parks to hear what the organization has been doing well and what we'd like to see more of in the future. So from that, like Frank said, came a real clear message that we should be aligning closer with the Parks Department and make that relationship clear. And so you'll see in our revised vision and mission that we are moving toward that philanthropic partner for Denver Parks and Recreation. And so we've been meeting with DPR leadership and staff to identify park projects and looking at those larger transformative park projects and how can we connect donors, foundations, individuals, companies to give to existing park projects that need our support. So these are the goals we came up with from the strategic plan. You'll see that the organizational goals tie in with DPR's principles from Game Plan for a Healthy City. So those principles, uniquely Denver, every dollar, every person, every drop. You'll see the connection to our goals. So top tier parks, looking not just at community level, but our whole park system, and trying to make sure that we're the best in the country. I know we're getting close, and we want to continue that momentum moving forward. Philanthropic leadership. So again, those larger transformational park projects. How can we engage folks to really invest in our park system? Equitable access to parks. This is really a through line throughout all of our work with the Denver Park Trust, and something everyone's really passionate about, making sure that our investments are in the neighborhoods who need it most using DPR's equity index. And then ensuring that we're giving to park projects and selecting park projects that move the needle on our climate goals and that are implementing environmentally sustainable and resilient practices. And then last is sustainability as an organization. You know, a lot of cities across the country, you look at Cincinnati, San Francisco, Austin, they have parks foundations who have been around for decades. And, you know, as the Denver Park Trust, we hope to become one of those legacy foundations for Denver.
So just to talk a little bit about our work, we focus on 4 areas. New parks has always been a part of the Denver Park Trust's goal and vision for how to improve access for residents throughout the city. We have 10-minute walk and roll gaps for close to 70,000 residents in Denver. And we have participated making investments with Denver Parks and Recreation in 2 areas, at 44th and Pearl in Globeville, and out in the Windsor neighborhood, which is along the Aurora border. And these are acquisitions of a ½ acre in Globeville and 2-acre property in Windsor. And what's really cool about the Windsor project is when it was built and it was approved in the bond, 1,700 homes will now have a 10-minute walk or roll. That really gets the Denver Park Trust and Denver Parks and Recreation excited. Park enhancements, our first big project was helping with a $150,000 funding gap at St. Charles Place Park. If you're available Friday afternoon, you got to come to Martinez Park in the Villa Park neighborhood to see the ribbon cutting on a really transformational revitalization that DPR put together. And the Denver Park Trust had a hand in raising some funds to raise the profile for Private Martinez. And then another cool project in the Athmar Park neighborhood is securing, using Denver Parks and Recreation's investment in irrigation along a 8-block trail to leverage $70,000 in grant funding to add native plants, trees, and pollinators. So those are 2 of the areas, and then Michaela will give you the other 2.
So these are kind of our carryover or secondary pieces of our work. One is community grants. And so a few years ago, Frank and the board at Denver Park Trust raised $100,000 for a community grant fund. And we've distributed 10 community grants. So we still have some funding left over. Anything from pollinator gardens to murals, trail improvements, community members, groups of 3 or more can apply. We have a review committee, and we coordinate all these through the Parks Department, ensuring that everything's in alignment. And it's something that both the community and DPR wants to see in the parks. And then resiliency and stewardship. This is mostly through companies. So we did about 65 volunteer events this year so far. And it's mostly companies who want to do an employee volunteer day. They make a donation, and then we work with DPR to find projects, and we try to focus on those environmentally sustainable projects like planting pollinator gardens, perennials, and, you know, of course, we can always use help picking up trash, so we do a lot of that as well.
And second to last slide, so we're moving right along. Parkville Park, just a small future park in the northeast part of the city. No, this is really exciting. So Denver voters, all of you, voted for the bond a week and a half ago or so. And, you know, in the parks segment, that's $160 million, $70 million of that is going to go into Park Hill Park. That's not enough to transform and build our fourth largest park, the largest since Washington Park in 1901. And so what the Denver Park Trust is going to do is try to engage the philanthropic and private sectors to contribute to that. Those same nonprofits that I mentioned earlier, Mountain Parks Foundation, Park People, et cetera, we've all been working for years to try to improve the culture of giving to our park system. And for the Denver Park Trust and DPR, this really presents an opportunity for us. We're creating a founder circle where we're trying to bring together some city visionaries to be the lead funders on this. The public will be getting a chance to contribute to it. Taxpayer dollars alone can't build this park, and so it really needs help from other sources. And the Denver Park Trust is really excited to take the lead on this. Once the design phase is put together, there'll be some park amenities out there, and we may be able to operate much like Civic Center Conservancy is doing, and with the Next 100 project downtown, and looking at those, raising money around the specific amenities. So you're going to hear more and more about this from us, and we welcome anybody as partners on this because it's going to be a huge effort.
Great. So just closing up, you know, we wanted to come speak to all of you today. We know that PRAB members are very active in their communities, and we're always looking to expand our partnerships and just spread the word. We thought it's important that PRAB knows who we are and what we're doing now. And when you know folks who might want to learn more about what we're doing or get involved, please connect us and you know, share about our work. Also, we're looking to do 2 to 3 community grants next year. So if you have any great ideas for your local parks, or you know anyone who does, we encourage them to apply to our grant program.
And so with that, we'll definitely take any questions. And then Kendra, you're on our team, so you can always add in anything Michaela and I may have missed.
I will just add that we can't state it strongly enough how important it is to raise money for Park Hill Park. And it's crazy that $70 million that was in the bond is only going to be for planning. And the total project is going to cost probably a couple of $100 million. And so just be aware of that. And when you talk to people, make sure that they understand that too. Because as Frank said, it is going to be a broad community effort.
Yeah.
And Kendra, of that 70 million, looking more like 20 million on design, but still,
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
you know,
Good.
gonna need to build out on that. But
Yeah.
everything support. Trina, my friend, I see your hand up. Oh, Lee, you usually do that.
Oh, no, please,
Go ahead and
please.
do that too, right?
Take it
Yes,
away.
I'm sorry. I'm in the car too because I'm just leaving my office, and I apologize. I missed a lot of the presentation because I was also in a meeting. But my question I heard at the end around possible grant opportunities, without having all of the details, are there any opportunities like for DPS or any partnership thereof with any of these dollars?
Yeah, I think that on any type of partnerships, and one of the things that the strategic plan really does with us is align us with direction from Parks and Rec. So when we're meeting with Jolan and his leadership team every couple of weeks, we're looking specifically at the projects that they want to direct us to. So I think Trina may be moving that discussion to what you've always talked about with the DPS and DPR working together. And then if DPR calls our number and wants us to plug in on that, then we're available.
Okay, thank you.
That.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate, I think we all appreciate hearing more about the organization and what it actually does And thank you for that. And I'm excited to hear about like all the partnerships. I think this was one of our things we put on our budget last year as we're looking at city budgets decreasing. And yes, the bond passed, but we're looking at some deficits in many areas. And it's really awesome to have a partnership with an organization that is really philanthropic, helping fill the gaps and looking at our equity map and all those things that we've said about high need areas. So I'm really encouraged by this work, and I'm really glad we spent some time tonight learning about it and hearing from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meredith, go ahead.
Hi. So first, I just want to say thank you for your support for the, what's the address? The
1060.
Windsor Neighborhood Park, in
1060
District
South
5.
Emporia. Yeah.
So I just read the article and saw that you contributed 75,000 of the total 750,000. My question is, in your work, how much is a priority, I guess, for acquisition? Like, it seems like, what is sort of like your preference in what you're funding? Is there a preference or just really informed by DPR?
It's a little bit of both. So when in our very first second board meeting, the board voted to create a park fund. So in real estate, moving quickly is always advantageous, and governments move slower when they purchase things than private owners. So that property that out in your district, 1060 South Emporia, that people wanted to put pickleball courts in there. They wanted to put a pool in there. There were all kinds of competition for it. So that our park fund, Meredith, if you sent me $100 donation, $10 would go into the park fund. And then we would buy a park with that. And you would help buy a park. So we have a bank of money that we can contribute to that. So that is something that we're going to do when Iris Foster and Luke McKay from the Parks Department come and say, we have an acquisition opportunity in a high needs neighborhood. Do you want to participate? We'll have money available to do that. With that said, the second part of it is when Park Hill Park needs us or another park project that DPR has got a funding gap, that's where we're going to put our energy. So we're still small. We're trying to be nimble. We think we can do it all, and we're giving our best shot.
Fantastic. We believe in you. Awesome. Any other questions, comments for Frank and Michaela? Just a big thank you, and keep doing the good work. We really appreciate it, and please keep giving us updates here and there as you are doing great things.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Thanks. All right. Well, it's nice when we have agenda items like that are just like, hey, here's some good stuff going on. It's nice to hear that. At this point, we'll move on to our next presentation, which is actually less of a presentation and just actually elections. So I'm going to turn it over to Florence, who has headed up our nominations committee. She'll kind of explain the process and take it away. Thanks, Florence.
So thank you. And again, just to reiterate, thanking Frank for his work on what they do on the foundation work. So elections. Well, this is always a good part. It's the fun part. So again, we're keeping it light and positive tonight, Lee. So I like the agenda. So first, I just want to thank Fran and Tate for helping me out on the committee. We do have 3 individuals, myself included, to accept nominations, and then we bring them forward to the committee. Simple process, and so we'll just keep it that way. With that said, I also want to thank Lee, Pam, and Kate for serving on the board for us as the executive committee in 2025. So thank you for that. So as the process continued, we received the following nominations for 2026. For President, Lee Raines Thomas. For Vice President, Marlene De La Rosa. And for Secretary, Kate Fritz. So those are the nominations as we move forward. We'll just say that at this point. And I'll ask, are there any other nominations or discussions or questions? Okay. Seeing or hearing none. Lee, what I would do next is we can go ahead and ask for a motion to accept the slate as presented. And then we can take a vote after we close that part of the discussion. So let me ask for a motion to move the slate forward.
I'll make the motion, Kendra.
And I'll second.
Thank you.
This is Trina.
Thank you. So with that, we can go ahead and take a vote. I'll ask for the ayes. How many ayes do we have?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, let me go to the next one. How many nays? Abstentions. One abstention. I didn't get an official count. If we need to, we can go back and see how many ayes, but I saw all the ayes, the hands raised, and I heard a voice.
Who
Okay. So with that-
abstained, please? I'm sorry, who abstained?
Yoli.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And so with that, the motion carries, and we have the following slate. They are now our executive board for 2026, which is Lee, Marlene, and Kate. Thank you all for stepping up to help us out for 2026. And again, thank the three of, including Pam, for 2025. So with that, we'll close that section up. Any other comments or discussions at this point? Lee, Marlene, Kate, anything?
I'd like to just say thank you. I'll say, thank you for that opportunity. And I appreciate everybody's voice on this board. And I'm willing to do this, but I do appreciate everybody's voice. So thank you.
Marlene?
Thank you, everybody. And same as Lee, I appreciate getting to serve on this board. It's one of the great things that I get to do. So thank you all for allowing me to be the vice president.
Kate?
I'm glad to be able to keep taking the minutes.
Appreciate the minutes.
Yes.
He's done a
I'm
great job.
really excited to keep typing.
I had a panic and heard Tate, and I was like, wait, what did I agree?
Oh, yeah. You're like, great. Oh, no.
I'm
just getting grateful for Kate.
Yeah, thank you to all of you for the backup here and there. I really do appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you all very much, and we'll keep it short and turn it back to you, Lee.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you, Florence, for all of
I'd
that.
like to make a
Kendra,
comment.
go ahead.
I want to say thank you to all of you for your leadership and you're willing to go the extra mile. It's a lot of work and I appreciate it. And I know everyone appreciates your leadership. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's good work. It's good work to do. And I feel like our board has come a long way in the last few years with our committees and just even our retreats have been better. Just how we manage things, I think, has gotten a lot better, how we handle public comments, etc. So thank you all for all of that. And I think the improving board structures are really a testament to your work. Thank you.
In appreciation of you stepping up in this volunteer role, we're going to double your salary. So,
oh, thank you. So I can have 2 coffees. Thank you so much, Jolyn. I appreciate it.
Instead of a coffee, Lee, you can have like a specialty coffee, like a latte or something.
There we go. There we go. Big roller. Awesome. Well, we're moving along rather quickly tonight, so that's excellent. Always a gift of time. So we're going to move right into our committee reports, and we're actually going to start tonight with our recreation and programming committee because I know Marlene has to leave a little bit early. So she has some youth that is going to share a little bit tonight. So I will turn it over to Marlene for our recreation committee.
So I'm going to start just giving some quick statistics from September dashboard. And overall, our monthly usage is up 12% compared to a year ago in the same month. Our annual, I'm taking away Jolen's talking points right now. Our annual for the monthly is up 9% from a year for the year. The My Denver for September was up 4% and annually up 9%. And of the students that are youth that have My Denver cards in September, there was 30% used the cards. So that's good because we're really trying to push more usage of those cards overall. Prime membership for our older adults was actually down for September from the same month a year ago, 13%. And overall, it's down 1%. We have had in September, we had 5,536 program registrations. And I thought this would be important. I know thanking Parks and Rec now with the SNAP benefits. The problem with the SNAP benefits are not even a problem. It's just they're not getting it. And now it's like, we're going to give it to you. Now we're not going to give it to you. And then the USDA is telling states you need to take it back. It's all up in the air. And then there's new rules beginning in November for SNAP. But you know, the rec centers do meals for students. Not every single rec center, but in August, they distributed 6,670 meals. So we know kids were out of school, and so that's great. In September, it was 3,507. And I know the rec center is offering food, and is it 2 Jolin rec centers in every, or one?
One per council district.
One per council district. So it's really good that our kids can have that, and partnering with many different organizations so that students can have meals. So thank you for that. And I do have Audrey is going to, one of the things we were wanting students to do is share. They're going to be doing some visits to parks and rec centers and sharing out what they see from their eyes and from their perspective, which we think is really good for us to share. So Audrey is going to be our first one to share with us about her visits.
All right, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm Audrey. I'm a senior at East. The first place that I visited was the Montbello Rec Center. And I think right off the bat, something I noticed that I really liked was that there was a lot of parking, which I feel like is really important because I know at like Carla Madison, there's not as much parking. And so it can be like hard to want to go there as much, I guess, because just like not knowing if there'll be a place to park. So I think the parking was really great. There was also like super friendly staff, and they were really nice and like gave me directions everywhere, which was good. And the bathrooms were kept super clean, which I think is a big thing because I know that like sometimes it can be hard to keep them clean, but they were like all the stalls had toilet paper, stuff like that. And they also had like a lot of amenities and stuff like that. But one thing that I noticed was that the pool was closed, and this was like last month, but the pool was closed, and I looked it up online, and there's like not a reopening date. So I think that I don't really know why it's closed. It doesn't say why it was closed, but that was something that I noticed that like was kind of a downside, I guess, because then those like people that go there can't use the pool. And also I've noticed that like most of the parks or most of the rec centers in Denver close at like 4 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And there's probably a reason for that, but just speaking from like a student perspective, I feel like maybe having them open a little bit later on those weekend nights would be good, because I think that having a place where students could spend their Saturday night instead of like either just being at home on their screens or like causing trouble, I guess, outside. I think that maybe having them open a little later on weekends would be good. But I don't know if that's possible with like funding and staff and stuff like that. And then I also went to Carla Madison Rec Center, which is across from my school. And it was honestly like really good. Obviously, like there's a lot of amenities and like rooms for meetings and events and stuff. One thing was that like there wasn't any paper towels in 2 of the bathrooms, and so that's just like maybe keeping up with that. And then also, I go to Carla Madison a lot because it's right next to my school. But every time I go, whenever I scan my Denver card, they always have to like update my name and photo, and it doesn't usually happen at like the other rec centers. So it might just be like a system issue, but I don't really know what that's about because I go there a lot. So that was, yeah, I don't know. And then I also visited Wash Park, and I went with my friend and we walked around a little bit. And I really like the environment. It's really well kept, and there's a lot of like things to do. There's a lot of I think there's 2 playgrounds, which I think is really good for like younger kids. And then also obviously like the lakes and the boathouse and stuff like that is all super good. One thing is like they have like porta potties, but there's like a permanent bathroom, and that was definitely not clean at all, which is kind of expected. But I think just like if I were to pick one thing to like improve about Wash Park, it would just be like better bathroom maintenance, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of what I noticed when I visited.
Anybody have any questions for Audrey?
No, just we
Marlene,
appreciate
the
you
only thing I
going.
would do is just tell Audrey, thank you so much for taking the time to go see so many centers. I mean, that's quite a
Yeah.
few. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully, Audrey, you're feeling good about your role, and you have a mentor in Fran, and I know she's reached out to you, so that's
Yeah.
great. She wasn't able to come tonight. She's at another event.
And
Well, thank you.
maybe Jolyn will tell us about the swimming pool.
I know I was taking some notes during that, and so I gotta get on top of it.
Awesome.
I also did want to mention that the students, one of the students asked if they can attend any of our committee meetings. Sure. And yes, you all can absolutely attend our committee meetings. And we will share with you the times that those happen. So if you want to attend any of those, they're interesting.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity. In our committees, we're able to talk more in depth about certain topics and ask questions. We often have a Parks and Rec staff there to kind of help us understand an issue or talk about these things, and we bring it to PRAB. So that's a good place to go. And those are always open to the public.
Thank you, Audrey.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other students want to share?
Maybe next time. No problem.
Okay.
And Audrey, thanks for being willing, because that is nerve-wracking. So thanks.
And I think I don't know, I think I shared, this relates to some of the off-leash dog topics we've had. One school, Remington, that is a vacant school, has a lot of off-leash dog parks. There's some residents that are wanting to know if the fence can be repaired there, and I'm not sure if that is part of the DPS portion of the property or the DPR portion of the property, but the fence has been kind of torn down, and so they wanted to see if something can be done to repair that, and that's at 46 and Pecos. And then also we talked about Chianchio Park, which is on the Tre Vista school campus, with people leaving their dogs off leash. And so that's a concern for some of them. And I know off-leash dog stuff is really a popular topic in Denver.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Marlene. And then I think the other things I want to mention just on that side is that the November discount is available for the passes. I'm sure Jolyn wanted to say that too. And also the winter activity guide is posted. So check that out. Encourage the community to do so. And maybe we can find a fun time where we can go to Echo Lake again and do a candlelight snowshoe, because that was incredible. I think we did that 2 years ago and it was really beautiful. So we'll listen to Kate, and when she tells us we can do that, we'll see if we can sign up.
I do want to say just about the activity guide that
Mhm.
things filled up at noon. I was like on an airplane and couldn't
Wow.
actually get things, but that's okay because other people will enjoy and I'm on the wait list. But people should know that the ski and ride signups are different days, and all of that information is in the activity guide. And so please let people know about that.
Okay. Thank you. You're always good at the activity guide. Thank you.
I know, and now I have a different job and less flexibility
Oh.
and can't do all the activities, but I love the activities. I just search ODR and I find really fun things. I love the diversity of offerings. It's wonderful. So
Absolutely.
thanks, DPR.
And sometimes it's fun to think about like that ski and ride and the transportation that's happening with some of those opportunities. All right. Well, now it's time for Kendra, I think, from Operations, Maintenance, and Budget. And she's going to share a little bit about some ideas we have for the budget as it's, the end of this year. We're going to look 2 years in advance. And then we'll spend some time at the retreat, but hopefully have some feedback from you guys before then.
Yeah. Thank you, Lee. So it does seem strange since it was just Monday, 2 days ago, when the city council did not pass the budget. But they don't have to, so that was pretty funny. But anyway, that was the budget for 2027. I mean, sorry, 2026. So it's hard to get our heads around this, but it's time for us to start thinking about the 2027 budget. And if you recall, last year we started talking about it around now, and we had a lot of back and forth amongst ourselves, and then we came up with some ideas that we discussed at our retreat. And then from that, we wrote a letter to our director, Jolyn Clark. Hi, Jolyn. And that is the goal again for this year. So last year we had a letter that I think was 3 pages long. In previous years, PRAB has sent like 10-page long letters. And the goal is to, I think, be succinct and kind of think big. The Parks Department doesn't need to know that the bathroom needs to be repaired or somebody needs a bench or something. They already know that. And the council members advocate for their districts. And we were appointed by the council members and the mayor. So it's more of big ideas. And so what I was thinking, because we've had multiple years of a budget crisis, and so I thought we should just keep it to like 5 main points. I'll tell you quickly what they are, but before I do that, we have one more meeting before the end of the year, and it's next week on the 19th at 5 o'clock. Join us for the committee, because we're going to go over these, and then we're going to send out a survey to all of you for your feedback. And with that, we will also include some previous years' budget letters, so you can see what we've done in the past. But really, I think the main point of this is to be thinking about budget issues that the city will likely still be having and what we think is important. And the 5 points were all really made last year too, but I was just saying we'd make it a 1-page letter instead of 3-page letter. So join me for the meeting next week if you can. If you can't, it's fine, because we will send out an email to get your feedback, because we do not meet in December. And then we will be having a retreat either in January or February. And so I'd like to get your feedback before the end of the year so we can get prepared for that, because it'll be here before you know it. So the 5 main points were number 1, capital projects to expedite, start, and complete existing capital projects that are in the queue. Number 2, Park Hill. Funding and staffing for Park Hill should not be prioritized over or reallocated from existing projects and those that are already in the queue. Cost reduction, reduce costs by expediting the planning and construction process. Delays increase costs. And reduce the use of costly consultants that often engage in repetitive or duplicative processes that result in delays. Special revenue funds, DPR related special revenue funds should be used for the purposes that they were created for. Sometimes they take some liberty with those, and we don't want them to do that. And then preserve and protect the Parks Department operating budget. So in case 2027, there is a budget crisis again, we want to ensure that the Parks Department operation budget does not have any cuts. So those were the main ideas we had. And again, join us for the meeting and expect an email. And feel free to reach out anytime to me. That's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for, I know that you looked at past ones, and we've come a long way since our laundry list. And I think that's a good way to handle it, like just more succinct. So please try to come to that meeting next week before Thanksgiving. And Arthur, that's when we do our executive at the end here, can you just make sure to share the updates for the committee times for this month? So just in a few minutes. Thank you. Awesome. So please look for that email, and please come to the meeting, and then an email with feedback request, please, before the end of the year, so we can use it to inform our work at the retreat and beyond. And then now we have our sustainability and resiliency. All right, Jack.
How's my audio? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. We can see you and hear you. Great.
Okay, excellent. Sustainability and resilience is working through some updates on key sustainability and resilience issues with the department. Our next meeting is next Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2:30 Mountain Time. And we're going to see how much update was staff able to pull together from the rest of DPR on how the electric lawn and garden equipment worked out. They were required this summer by state law for ozone control. So we want to see how did that work out, good and bad. We will also expect a preview of some new forester regulations that will come before PRAB early next year. So we'll get a briefing on that. Our next future update we're looking for is on DPR's use of solar batteries, geothermal, any other clean energy technologies. We've been updated on this in the past. We're about due a year or so to get updated. How are these installations working? We're talking about 5 or 6 recreation centers with solar canopies, one that has solar canopies to batteries, and a solar installation at the Northeast Maintenance Facility, plus a geothermal field there. That was all coming online last we heard. They were just fine tuning the geothermal system. And then geothermals at Westwood Recreation Center. And I expect that's under construction still. So we just want to get a status update. Is this still on track? You know, how are things working? So that's our report.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And I think that that's a great thing. I think snowmobiles and snow blowers, etc., are supposed to be electric too, right? Or is that still gas? Or it's all like small devices? Was that state law?
No, that's not in the law.
Okay.
And I don't know for a lifetime of skiing on artificial snow. Since I learned to ski in New Jersey. I'm surprised I don't know that, but I do not believe they bring any flammable gases or liquids up to those machines. I think that's electric. Electric or water.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, no, this is specified lawn and garden equipment. It doesn't include the very large lawnmowers and things like that. It's all small. But all local governments in the ozone non-attainment area were required to go to this during the summer. So that's every county from Douglas County to Weldon, Larimer, pretty much. And so DPR is probably one of the larger entities covered here. We've got an extensive park system. We use a lot of lawn and garden equipment. So we're going to find out things like the chainsaws didn't work long enough, or the batteries are not, you know, problems in recharging them. And we'll find out things that worked out well, like a lot quieter equipment. So we'll see.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Moving to our next committee, then we've got our planning, design, funding, and accessibility.
Well, let's see, where shall I start? I ended up spending the time our last meeting working and talking with Arthur and Laura and helping us to put together some ideas for our discussion and agenda for our next meeting, which is actually, as you stated, next week, Tuesday, the 18th at 3 o'clock. And so once we get together, maybe having a conversation about helping us to prepare for the bigger conversation at our retreat regarding the roles of our committees, and maybe just evaluating, sharing some thoughts with each other about how is our committee working and where does our work really come from. I know we have had in the past some information coming down to us regarding master plans. And I know one big topic we get from the public back and forth is what's going on with the dog parks and that kind of thing. So really having a conversation about what our committee is working on and where does our work continue to come from and what does that look like? Just a little bit of a quick evaluation to help us prepare for the conversation with the retreat. And the reason why we bring that up is in part, you know, we've canceled quite a few meetings the last several months. And so it's like, where are we going and what do we do with this? And so just having a little bit of background information about our discussion, having that kind of discussion as we move forward in 2026. So that's just a little bit, we were trying to put some thoughts together for our conversation for the planning meeting. And we heard earlier, if any of the students want to join us, please feel free to even just 10, 15 minutes and participate in the conversation that we're having and get an idea of what planning committee, the work that we do and how it moves forward. So with that, short and sweet.
Nice. Thank you, Florence, and all the committee members. And thank you. I like how you said, asking the question of where does the work for committees come from? Because that's a good question. Like, where does it come from? Public, Parks and Rec, etc. So thank you. And now the executive committee, just a couple of things. We've got, other questions? Okay. Couple things. We're planning a retreat in January, late January or February. And if you could please take the poll that was sent with Arthur's monthly update. It's just a quick 3 question. We just ask that you put them in order, like first, second, and third. If you can't go to one of those dates, obviously, please say that you can't go. But we're trying to, hopefully we'll have a good amount of PRAB joining us to do some important work for planning and reflection. And then also, just a quick reminder, we don't have any meeting in December. We will have it in January. No meeting in December and no committee meetings in December. So you get a month off to be with your families. And it's always so busy that time of year anyway. And Arthur has sent out some information about our poinsettias, which is a nice gift that we get on Parks and Rec. So please see Arthur's email with information about the pickup date, which will be at the City Park Greenhouse in the morning. So if you could, and then obviously if you need some help with that or outside of those hours, you'll just work with Arthur to arrange that. But we really appreciate that from the department. Those are beautiful and a really special tradition that you have, and we appreciate it. So that's what I've got for the executive committee. And then Marlene, please go ahead.
I just was going to share a little fact for the students because we talk so much about the dogs that in the city of Denver, there are more licensed dogs than we have children under the age of 18.
That's wild, actually. And that's just the licensed dogs.
Yeah. So, just a little fun fact.
Wow. All right. All right. Well, with that, oh, and I also wanted to remind you guys, and I think we probably got an email, you guys got the email about the Civic Center grand opening, which will be really special. I believe that's next week. So just a plug to go attend that. That's quite an historic event and a historic place that they're going to be working on. So I encourage you to go if you have that opportunity. Arthur, did you want to share the dates, just like the changes that happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Just as a reminder to everyone, we moved our committee meetings from the fourth week of the month to the third week, just so we wouldn't interfere with the Thanksgiving holiday. So you can find this calendar with other events besides just our PRAB meetings at denvergov.org/PRAB. So if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a link to our Talkify page that shows all the different things that are happening in our recreation centers and in our parks and with our Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Arthur. Awesome. All right. With that, I think we are going to move right into our executive director report with our director, Jolynn Clark. So thanks for joining us tonight, and floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. So all of you have been stealing all the stuff I was going to talk about. So some of this I'll just make sure that we add the information and dates and links and stuff on it. But first want to say a huge thank you to everyone who voted and for the passage of the Vibrant Denver bond package. The parks question was one of the highest approval ratings. So we're so excited. $150 million worth of new park projects in there that will be coming. And so that will include some things like the Echo Lake Lodge becoming an outdoor recreation hub, a shade plaza at the Montbello Civic Center Park, the Platt Park Playground, a skate park and rec hub in Southeast Denver, the Otzlon Pool, Eisenhower Pool, we'll get makeovers, lighting on the Cherry Creek, and of course, the investment in Park Hill Park and environmental health improvements at Sloan's Lake, which were desperately needed. So those are some of the highlights that are coming. It's also a 6-year delivery window for this. So traditionally bonds have a 10-year delivery window, but these projects are going to be coming fast off the presses here on a 6-year delivery window. So as you heard a little bit about, the 26 budget has officially been set despite council's vote. So that is the budget moving into 2026. Council did have several amendments and the mayor accepted all of the ones that they voted through, but none of those had a direct impact on DPR. So our 2026 budget will be the budget that I presented last month. And we'll drop a link in the chat that has the final budget book if you would like to take another look through that. But no changes since my presentation last month, which is great news. We were afraid once we saw that there were going to be 25 amendments that our budget could change, and it did not. So that's great news. Thanks to many of you who came out on a cold afternoon to help us celebrate the official opening of Park Hill Park. And that is now all city-owned park property. And it is open to the public. I've been out there a couple times, and it's really awesome to see people using that space as a park. As a reminder, it's only open sunrise to sunset. It's not traditional park curfew hours. But it is open 7 days a week from sunrise to sunset. And that's because there are no utilities. There aren't any lights in the middle of the park. So not safe for us to allow it after dark just yet. But we will have as part of the bond projects, be fixing all of that and making sure that we can finally take the fences down. So fences will remain up until we are able to go under construction with the bond project. And then a couple of ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. We'll be cutting the ribbon on improvements at Joe Martinez Park on Friday, this Friday, 2 days from now at 3 p.m. So please join us for that one. We'll have some info in the chat for you on that one. You heard about Civic Center Park. That is an awesome project. We'll do a groundbreaking ceremony on November 19th. And so please join us for that one. That will be a ton of fun in downtown. You should have already had an invite for that one last week, but so if you didn't get that or can't find it, reach out to Laura for details. We also have a groundbreaking at 47th and Telluride in Green Valley Ranch. This brand new park was supported by the last bond effort and has an exciting design shaped by the neighbors out there. That'll be on November 20th at 12 p.m. We'll drop a link in there for that one as well. And then construction on our newest recreation center in Westwood is moving at an incredible pace. It's just amazing to see it come together. The pool slides are already that's Swansea, that's the pool slides in. So that one is also moving super fast, the pool there, but the exterior wall of the walls are up at Westwood. We're looking at doing the beam. Oh, I'm going to get the name of it wrong, but when you put the final beam in for the construction, still lots of work to do before it opens, but it's a major milestone in that we're already looking at that being possible this year. And so it's very exciting. Topping off ceremony, that's what it's called. Hopefully in December. So once we get that locked down, we'll also send out details for that if you'd like to join us for that. And then there is an open house to review the final design and talk to the project team about the Montclair playground improvements. That'll be December 9th from 5:30 to 7. So we'll drop a link on that one. And then this month, just last week, our forestry team celebrated reaching the mayor's 2025 tree planting goal of 4,500 new trees across the city. And that was marked by the planting of a tulip tree at Benedict Fountain Park with the mayor and our partners at the climate office joining for planting the last tree to get to that goal. So it's been a big year for getting those trees in the ground. On the recreation side of things, you heard this is the membership sale. So tell everyone you know that this is the absolute best month to get your recreation membership set up because it is 35% off right now. It's already a steal of a deal, best deal in town for recreation. But then when you take 35% off those prices, it's really an unbeatable deal. So they can be purchased online or in person at any of our recreation centers. But that does end at the end of the month. Only 18 more days left of the sale. And then you also heard registration for our winter activities opened on November 5th. And many of those activities are not full yet. I was flagged to tell you specifically about caroling with Adaptive Rec or our citywide sports annual holiday dodgeball tournament, still openings. Also toy drive connected to that one. It's lots of fun. And then we also have youth and adult basketball leagues that still have spaces. So there is something for everyone. And even if you missed the early sign in on some stuff, there are lots of stuff that still has availability. So go check out the activity guide. And then you heard about the ski and ride programs also open. Those are super fun. Parents must register kids in person at the designated registration nights for $30. First time and beginner youth can ski or snowboard. And that price includes the gear, the transportation, the lift ticket, and a lesson at Winter Park for $30. Can't be beat. Don't end up like me, a kid who grew up in Denver and did not ever ski until I was 18 years old. Doesn't have to be. $30, we can solve that. And then also very exciting, talking about skiing and snowboarding, the Ruby Hill Rail Yard, which is our training ground for kids to learn those skills right here in the city and then take them up to Winter Park, is being featured in the film the Warren Miller film this year. Will have a feature. I think it's almost a 9-minute segment, they told me, about the Ruby Hill Rail Yard. So that is coming to the Paramount Theater for 3 shows on November 21st through 22nd. Super exciting to be in a Warren Miller film with our Ruby Hill Rail Yard. So check that out. And then keep an eye on the event calendar because we'll have lots more holiday events throughout the system that'll be coming up. And so we'll also drop a link in the chat for you to track all of that. Lots of fun stuff happening this time of year, and excited to have a budget in place and start building around that, and looking forward to 2026, even though the budget was tough and not where I think any of us would have wanted it to be. As I mentioned last month, we have so many incredible employees here at DPR who came forward with ideas, and we're able to, preserve the flower beds and preserve rec center hours and preserve rec programming and some of the things that were early cuts last time around. And so exciting to get that budget officially approved and on its way. So, as always, I am here to answer any questions that you might have on any of that stuff or anything else that you would like from me.
I don't have any. Thank you. Kelsey, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if you could please share a copy of the budget. I'd love to learn about it since I wasn't at the last meeting.
Yeah, it's one you can rewatch my whole presentation either council.
I actually will. Thank you.
You can or the PRAB meeting is also you can watch it, but the budget book link is in your chat right now. Laura posted.
Oh, great.
6:33 p.m. That's the actual nuts and bolts of the budget book. But if you'd like to be walked through it on the presentation, that's also on Channel 8, so we can try and send that link out as well.
Thank you. That'd be great.
Yep. And Kelsey, just so you know too, whenever we get updates from Director Clark, he always includes that. So anything he talks about will be in, and then we always try to include the presentations from anybody in the minutes. And so Arthur will send those out when we get that, so you can review that. And even last month when Jolyn presented the hopeful budget and the kind of the legacy, the spending, and all of that. So that was important. But yeah, it's like you jump right in and you just got to catch up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tate, go ahead.
Jolyn, could you talk about the budget a little bit more, and how council failed it and what that means for parks and kind of what the future looks for the administration and you all?
Actually, thank you, Tate, for that, because I was kind of confused about, like, I didn't watch the council meeting and it sounds like it failed, but didn't fail, or yeah.
Great question. So the budget process, so on about October 15th, the mayor puts forth the city budget. All of the departments do a lot of work to get to that point of preparing the budget, making sure that the Department of Finance is saying, yes, those numbers actually add up to what they're supposed to, and we present internally to the mayor so that he can decide what that budget looks like, and that's announced on October 15th. City Council then gets a series of budget hearings. That's the one that I was talking about, that if you'd like to rewatch the presentation, all of the big, not every department, but all of the bigger departments, and then any ones that are specifically requested by City Council for hearing, go in front of City Council and we present our budget for their consideration in a week-long set of budget hearings. They then go and get together and say, hey, here are the things where we feel like this budget missed the mark and things we'd like changed. They send a letter to the mayor. The mayor reviews that and says, hey, okay, I can change these things or I can't, responds to that and publishes a second budget book on about November, or when was that one? We're already in November, so I've got the dates wrong. Maybe it's September 15th and October 15th for the second book, thereabouts. And then City Council kind of takes that second book as the final book that the mayor kind of puts forward. City Council then has several of their meetings. They hold a public hearing to hear from members of the public on what they think about that budget. And then they have a couple of weeks where they can bring amendments to the budget. And if they get 7 amendments, then the budget is amended, but the mayor can veto that particular amendment. If they get 9 or more votes, then the budget is amended in that way, and the mayor cannot veto it because it's above the veto threshold. So the City Council deliberated they started at 3:30 p.m. and went to probably 10:30, deliberating over all of the amendments. 2 weeks ago, all the ones that passed, even the ones that didn't have 9 or more votes, then went to the mayor and he accepted all of them, the ones that were veto proof, but also the other ones, and kind of responded to council on that. And then what's confusing is at that point, the budget is really solidified. The last action is, will the mayor veto anything that isn't veto proof? But the charter simultaneously requires city council to vote on that final budget once it's all done, but also says there's a requirement that the city has to have an adopted budget going into the new year, and it has to be balanced. And so even if city council votes no on the budget, it becomes the budget. So it's a super weird, like, performative moment where city council says, we've done all the amending and all the vetoing or not veto has happened. So here we hereby approve the budget, and it becomes the budget. But even if they don't, the charter still says, not like the federal government who can just shut down and lock all those things. It says, no, city government, we're not gonna do it that way. Even if you guys can't come to agreement on city council, then that budget becomes the budget. And so it is a ceremonial vote, because either way, the end result is the same. And so city council took that vote on this Monday, just 2 days ago, and they gridlocked at 6-6 with one member absent. And so by council rule, it doesn't matter if only 7 people show up, you still need 7 votes for something to pass. And since it only got 6 affirmative votes, it technically failed. A 6-6 tie is a fail because anything without 7 votes is. And so they failed to pass the budget, but it became the budget anyway. So that's why it's confusing. So sorry, did that Tate and Lee answer the questions about that whole process?
Yeah, I think we need more detail, but no, I'm just kidding. Thanks. It's very confusing. It's a confusing headline. It's like council passes the budget, but it doesn't, and then it moves forward anyway. So appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. And I think that's important to understand.
Very weird quirk in our city government.
Yeah.
It also keeps government from shutting down when municipal government provides so many core services. It's kind of a fail-safe to say, hey, you can't go mimic the federal government and get so dysfunctional that you just shut down and stop doing things. No, you're going to do it, and the budget will get approved. So figure it out before that thing, because either way, it's going to be the budget.
Yeah. It seems like an incentive to compromise. But there we go.
There we go.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you for all of those updates. Board announcements. All right. Well then, with that, it is 6:47. I can say thank you one more time. Thank you for your participation and engagement and all the work you do across the city. For the people of the city. And a big thank you to Arthur and Laura, who are just always here for us and just really do a lot. And we appreciate you. And this board, we would not be able to even function without you guys. So really a big thank you to all the staff, but really big shout out to you guys. And Jesus too, you're always here. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll adjourn this meeting at 6:48. Have a wonderful night. Have a really happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy that special time with your families. Have a nice holiday in December, and we will see you in January. Please check your email for further updates. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Yes.
Arthur, I have, and Lauren, I have, and Jesus, if you're still there, you are. I have Fran, Javon, Uriel, and Brooke as absent.
Yeah, Uriel was on briefly, but he's at the Latin Grammys or something, so I think
that seems like a better choice.
And then Kate, we got an email from Daryl, and he's going to replace Javon, so you can take Javon off. We have a vacancy right now.
Okay.
And we hope to have a replacement by January.
Okay. All right. That's my only question. So as soon as I get Jolen's stuff plugged in here, I'll send this to you guys.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful night and happy Thanksgiving in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.